Welcome to the US Kiss Vinyl Reference YouTube channel. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Alright folks, welcome back to another episode of the US Kiss Vinyl Reference. I am your host, Mike Stone, and continuing the trajectory started with the previous episode, we're going to go album specific again. And if you've been following along, then you know that we're going to talk about Animalize. So we got another non-makeup release. We got another lineup change. And we have my least favorite non-makeup release. So get yourself strapped in tight, and I'll see you here in a minute to talk about it. Alright folks, welcome back. So as I had mentioned just a second ago, that we're going to talk about Animalize today and the singles that go with it. Not a whole lot of variation on both of them, but enough to keep me talking for a little bit. So released in September of 1984. We got a new lineup change, out with Vinnie Vincent, in with Mark St. John. That's, to me, it's like trying to trade a turd with another turd, but that's just me. Sorry, Mark St. John and Vinnie Vincent fans, I'm not one of you. So, my least favorite of the makeup album, or non-makeup albums, maybe two songs off of this album that I actually like, Thrills in the Night and Murder in High Heels, but just not a great album to me. I don't know. And I mean, this is when I was gathering up Kiss music initially after my fandom started. This was among one of the last ones that I got. So, I mean, I've had less time to live with this one than the other albums, and I don't know, I just never got into it. And truth be told, Bruce Kulick has always been my guy in the non-makeup period. And I'm not a huge fan of the Vinnie Vincent era. I don't count Creatures as the Vinnie Vincent era, because a lot of that was written before Vinnie joined. And he did write a couple of songs on Creatures, but that's neither here nor there. The songs that he did write on Creatures, I could really live without. So, but I have intel that tells me that Bruce ghosted on a couple of tracks here on Animalize. Listening to the beginning of Thrills in the Night, that kind of sounds like Bruce to me. The opening solo, that just kind of sounds like his phrasing and playing, and I'm sure the information is out there exactly what he played on, but this is just from what my ears tell me. I haven't read too deep into what he played on. And then I want to say it was I want to say the other song was Murder in High Heels, maybe. Like I said, I'm sure the information's out there, but I haven't dug too deep in it. So with all of that, I guess we can get started on looking through this stuff. So as always, we're going to start with the promotional copy, and following the trend of the last few albums, really starting with technically Creatures, the promotional copy for Animalize, like Lick It Up and Creatures, has a gold stamp on the jacket and nothing else. So there's not a promotional label. So yeah, you can see the gold stamp is a little wore off, but it's still there. I've had a few copies of the promo in my hand now. Every copy, and it won't show up here, but right next to that Polygram Records logo, there is a black 206 that goes up and down. I've got a scan of it that I'll drop in to show, but that's been every promotional copy I've seen of Animalize. Also, hype sticker directly on the jacket. This kind of reinforces the long-standing theory that many promos were not sealed, because usually the hype sticker is applied after the shrink wrap, obviously, because it's on the shrink wrap. And I have had a few retail copies of Animalize that were sealed, and the hype sticker was on top of the shrink wrap and not directly on the jacket. So to me, that kind of reinforces my theory a little bit about that, but I mean, at this point, who the hell really knows? So, alright, so we'll start off with the inner sleeve. So, you got lyrics on one side, pictures of the band on the other, and then picking up where Lick It Up left off. So we've got a number 521 in the lower left-hand corner of the inner sleeve here. So that is a printing plant number for where the inner sleeve was printed. I don't know of any other variations off of the top of my head, but because of that plant number, I'll be pulling these inner sleeves out to see if I notice anything. All right. So now we get to the vinyl. And right away, it's a Mercury label. And if you go over to the left-hand side, underneath where it says stereo and side A, you'll see a number 22. That's your pressing plant number. And you're going to notice that there is no promotional text. So, and Lick It Up and Creatures have some copies that are translucent. Animalize, I have not found one yet that light passes through. So there is your promotional copy for Animalize. And I have never seen a promotional label for Animalize. I've never seen a record that lets light pass through, so this is a pretty common promo to find from this period. So, I mean, like I said, I've probably had 4, 5, 6 copies of this pass through my hands over the years. It's not hard to obtain. And going from there, we'll start on retail copies. So on this one, just like the promo, I have a black 206 down here by the Polygram logo. And you may notice some pictures on Discogs of a couple of these non-makeup albums for US listings that are missing the barcode. Those pictures are doctored. Every U.S. issue from Lick It Up forward have UPCs on the jacket. So there's a mystery to be solved there. I've tried to correct that several times, and they just seem to come right back around as the enabled picture. So I gave up on it. All right. Inner sleeve. We've got the band pictures, and we've got lyrics and a 521 on there, so it's the same as what the promo had. And these have both been glossy so far. I honestly can't remember if I have matte finished inner sleeves or not, but I guess we'll find out here before long. Alright. Same label as I showed you with the promo. You got that number 22 on the left hand side. And then same as before, light does not pass through. And I have said in previous episodes, and it bears repeating in this one, there's going to be different pressing plant numbers on the label and different printing plant numbers on the jacket. Don't get too hung up on what combination you have, because I mean they can come just about any way. Alright, next up, so this jacket has a pink 501 on the back, if I can get that to pull up there. I mean, you can see it for the most part. And then the inner sleeve has a 521 on the lyric side, and then you got the band pictures. And the vinyl. So you got the Mercury label. And if you look off to the left hand side, right before the word manufactured, you'll see a number 53. So there's your pressing plant number. Well, like I said in the Lick It Up episode, they're still using different pressing plants, but it's not quite as Wild West as it used to be. They've got their pressing plants limited down just a little bit. Alright, then the next variation we have. So now if you look below the UPC, you'll see a black 501 on the back of the jacket. Got the 521 and the band pictures on this glossy inner sleeve here. So far, all the inner sleeves have been the same. And the label, so it's that Mercury label. If you look over to the left hand side underneath where it says side 1 and stereo, you'll see a number 56. So there's your pressing plant number. And our next retail copy. So on this jacket, down here to the right of the polygram logo, you have like an orange to a red 0704. It's right there above my finger. It's going up and down. It's right here in the corner. .521 on the inner sleeve. Band pictures, glossy. And then the label. It's a Mercury label. If you look over to the left, underneath where it says side 1 and stereo, you'll see a number 2, or 72, I'm sorry. So there's your pressing plant number. And then I'll give you a minute to kind of look the label over and notice that there is no album title anywhere. It does not say Animalize anywhere on the label. So wink wink, nudge nudge. And the next retail copy. So on the back of the jacket, underneath the UPC, there's a black 0501. And the inner sleeve, we got the band pictures, and there's a 521 on it, and it's glossy. And on the label, so now you see it's a black Mercury label. Off to the far left, you see a number 72, just like the last one. And then if you look below the spindle hole, you see the word Animalize. So you have a variation with and without the album title. And there I am. Sometimes it takes a minute for that camera to focus back on me after I pull the record away. Even though I pretty much just drop images in, because at the time I can't see whether it's blurred or not, because my computer screen is literally right in front of me, so the record's blocking my view. So to my knowledge, that's all of the plant variations on the label and all of the plant variations on the jacket. How they are combined when they come to you, it seems that could be anybody's guess at this point. Alright, now let's look at some record clubs. So we're going to start off with RCA, which is kind of weird because usually my CRCs are in front, but anyway. So on the back here, you got the license information printed on the back, and then incidentally there is that orange 0704 again. which I can't get focus in, but alright, we have a inner sleeve with a matte finish, and it does have a 521 on the back. So there is a matte finish inner sleeve. I thought there was, but I just wasn't 100% sure. And then the vinyl, there's a Mercury label. If you go off to the left, there's that license number for RCA. And then if you go off to the right, underneath the catalog number, it says distributed under license from Polygram Records Incorporated by RCA Music Service. So RCA was always real good about marking their stuff. If I remember what I've read, if I remember that right, see if I can say that correctly. RCA printed their stuff in-house. They were able to print their own stuff, so that might be why they mark their stuff so much better than Columbia House or Columbia Record Club, whatever you want to call it. Alright. Next up, we have another RCA. So we've got the 0704 on the jacket, just like the other one. And if you notice, this one has the license. It's gold stamped on the jacket, which is kind of weird, really. Glossy inner sleeve, and it has the 521 on the back. And then the same RCA label that I just showed. So literally the only difference besides the inner sleeve is the fact that one of them is printed the RCA license on the back, and the other one's gold stamped. And this is the only one I've seen that had gold stamped information from RCA on the jacket. Alright. And then we go to Columbia House, Columbia Record Company, whatever you want to call it. So this is marked on the jacket with that CRC right there in the bottom kind of center, in the little lava pool there. We have a glossy inner sleeve, and there is no 521 in the corner. And finally, other than a couple of variations of Destroyer, we finally get a CRC label. So you can see over there to the right underneath the catalog number, it says CRC on it. This is only going to continue until the next album. So Animalize and Asylum. And then CRC stop for Kiss releases on vinyl. So all the bitching that I've done about CRCs not marking their shit, 4 Kiss records with CRCs on the label. Okay, and then we jump ahead to 2014 with the Hysteria reissue campaign. This was not exclusive to the set, so everything was recreated. Got the front and the back of the jacket. The inner sleeve was recreated. And on the vinyl, you've got a Mercury label. And the bottom of it says 2014, the Island Def Jam Music Group. So that sets it apart from a vintage copy. And there have been no further reissues to date of Animalize. No anniversary issues have caught up to this one yet. As of this filming, we are coming upon the 40th anniversary of Animalize. I would like to think that something will get done, but I like to breathe too much to hold my breath. So if we get one, we get one. If we don't, I'm sure they've got other releases that are a higher priority. So that does it for the album. Now let's talk about the singles. So we have two singles. We have Heaven's on Fire backed with Lonely as the Hunter. And then we have Thrills in the Night backed with Burn Bitch Burn. I want to put my log in your fireplace. Yeah, that song. So starting off with 12-inch single for Heaven's on Fire, kind of like that Lick It Up single that I showed on the previous episode. You know, we have a custom jacket here. This is a promotional only single. It was sent out to radio stations, and it came with a plain inner sleeve. Then we have, for the vinyl, a Mercury label. On the right hand side, underneath the catalog number, it says promotional copy not for sale. On the left hand side, underneath the 33 and the third and all that, it's got a number 22. So there's your pressing plant number. Same label, same song on both sides, just like the Lick It Up and All's Hell's Breaking Loose singles that I showed. Light does not pass through the vinyl. I guess that was a gimmick they didn't want to be part of in 1984. And then also on the back, we have a black 0704. Just about every copy I've seen of this has had that 0704 on it, so I don't think that there's a variation there. And the next one is just in a plain white jacket. You can get these for a dime a dozen off of places like Bags Unlimited or BCW Supplies. This one's looks vintage, so that's why I keep it. Otherwise, it's not in the best of shape in the world, but also comes with a plain white inner sleeve, which is pretty yellowed by now. the vinyl. Not unlike the Heavens on Fire single. Off to the right it says promotional copy not for sale, and off to the left you see a number 22 for a plant number. So where's my flashlight? Light also does not pass through this record. This one has the edit version on one side, and then it has the LP version on the other. And what is there, like a 30-second difference or something like that? Close to it. More like 15 seconds or so, but a little bit of it's chopped off. I have both versions in my computer. I ripped both versions of it. I want to say it was like in that verse they chopped out a couple of lines. Oh, if YouTube's bots are scanning this one, that one could have been took a little wrong, but that is what it is. Alright, now let's talk about some 45s. So first up we have Heavens on Fire, backed with Lonely is the Hunter. So for the promotional copy, we have a Mercury label, and off to the left hand side it says promotional copy not for sale, and then you get a number 22. Same label, same song on both sides. Like I said in the Lick It Up episode, I suspect that's a cost-saving measure. That way, when they send it off to a radio station, if the radio station plays it a bunch and wears out one side, just flip it over and play the other side, and they don't have to send out as many promotional copies, because these cost money for them to make, but they give them away for free. So alright, now the retail copy. So we got a Mercury label. Off to the left hand side you'll see a number 19, so there's your pressing plant number. There's Heavens on Fire, and Lonely is the Hunter. Now I have seen copies that I think it's the B-side doesn't have the 19 on it. I mean, if I find one, I find one. I don't know if I really call that a variation or not, because I don't know how easily that ink can be removed. So, not saying that the people that pointed this out to me are the ones that removed it, but there's been a recent discovery with the teardrop rock and roll over that makes me kind of rethink certain things. So well, okay, I said something about it, I might as well elaborate. So a friend of mine was cruising on eBay, and he saw a copy of Rock and Roll Over that had the RCA information on the back, and then Paul did not have teardrops. So now many of you were gasping. I understand. You know, oh my God, there's a RCA Rock and Roll Over that doesn't have teardrops. Well, here's the deal. So my buddy pointed this out to me. I told him you should get that. And then I immediately went on eBay and started looking myself. And I had thought that I had found one. And when I got it in, the teardrops were faint. And this is the copy that this is the copy that I got in. The teardrops were real faint on it. And when I looked at it real close, it almost looked like they were smudged. And I mean, this cover was just dirty as could be, grimy, I should say. So usually when I get a grimy cover in, I'll take a little bit of alcohol and just lightly wipe it down. I don't put any pressure on it. I just lightly wipe it down. It doesn't hurt. Now, if you get in there and put elbow grease in, yeah, you'll start removing some shit, especially double plat. So I seen that it was grimy, so I was going to clean it anyway, and then I noticed that that tear was smudged, and I always kind of thought that the teardrop was, I'm not a printer, so I always thought that the teardrop was in the printing, so to speak, you know. And so I took a little paper towel and a little bit of alcohol, and I started rubbing in that area, and that blue teardrop came off. So, yes. Technically, I have a RCA copy of Rock and Roll Over that does not have a teardrop under Paul's eye. I removed the teardrop. So if you see any listings, or if you're in, you know, Facebook auction groups or whatever the case may be, and it is advertised as an RCA copy that does not have a teardrop, that teardrop has been removed. Do not let anybody fool you. There is a certain online auction group that has a person that tries to fake variants. So I will not say the group, and I will not say the person's name, but it is what it is. So yes, that can be removed. And bringing that back around to the version of this that has a plant number on one side and not the other, I don't know how easy that silver print is to remove. So, kind of a long-winded way of saying that. So, alright, back on track now. Got another retail copy of Heaven's on Fire. So, got a Mercury label. Off to the left-hand side, you'll see a number 22, which matches the promo copy. So there's your Heaven's on Fire side. And there is Lonely as the Hunter. Yeah, there's been a copy of Double Platinum that shows up on eBay quite a bit. It says it's a rare variant that never got the red text applied to the jacket. It's been removed with alcohol because you can see clearly where the text used to be. So, alright. Another variation of Heaven's on Fire. So it's a Mercury label. On the left hand side you see a number 72. So there's Heaven's on Fire. And Lonely is the Hunter. Okay, So the next single is Thrills in the Night, backed with Burn Bitch Burn. So for the promotional copy, I guess it's the same either way. So we got the Mercury label. On the left hand side it says promotional copy, not for sale, and then you got a number 22, and note that it's the edited version of Thrills in the Night. Same on both sides, same label, same song. So the 12-inch had the LP version on one side and the edit on the other. 45 just has the edit on both sides. Promotional copy. Alright, and then the stock copy, we have Mercury label. And over to the left hand side you see a number 19. So there's Thrills in the Night. And Burn Bitch Burn. And these did not get a picture sleeve, neither single in the US. White sleeves would be the correct sleeve. Like I said in the Lick It Up episode, I've seen copies that had a blue Mercury sleeve, and I don't think that fits the time frame. So I think those were done before this time frame started. So then our last variation for Thrills in the Night is on a Mercury label. On the left hand side there's a number 22, so there's your Thrills in the Night side. And Burn Bitch Burn. So that's one of the shorter episodes I've been into so far. Just wasn't that many variations to talk about for Animalize. Like I said, they're kind of streamlining everything, but there's still little differences here and there. So then it just kind of starts dwindling in differences as we progress more towards the era of the death of vinyl. So, well, folks, I think that does Animalize. Any variations that I know of anyway. So I appreciate you checking it out and staying in here, and I will see you next time.